Chris Stewart again for BamaFever.com, of course joined by Ryan Brown of JOX 94.5, but also my broadcast partner on Inside Southeastern Football, which airs on Saturday mornings on CW21 beginning at 10:30. Of course, that's in Birmingham. Yes, we're in the zone at Bryant-Denny Stadium, where rumor has it there's a little football game this weekend.
Yeah, so I've heard. Is it LSU coming to town? Is that right?
That's the word. And we talked about it extensively during the taping of Inside Southeastern Football. First time ever to have a 1 versus 2 in the regular season in the Southeastern Conference. You've been doing talk radio for a long time. Have you ever seen anything like this for a regular season game like it's been this week?
No, and it's been the perfect storm. You know, people could see this coming. This is not a huge surprise from the start of the year. You had both teams on the bye week prior to it. You had Oklahoma losing, which they were, there was a chance they would have been number 1 in the BCS if they don't lose to Texas Tech, so that would have ruined 1 versus 2. It was going to be a huge game otherwise, but it's really been the perfect storm for it to be 1 versus 2.
And also the fact that the game itself takes place in the stadium.
Yeah.
That obviously has tremendous magnitude as well as far as our interest with this matchup. We talked about keys, and among those being Alabama's ability to limit that quick defensive front that LSU possesses.
Yeah, Mingo, Brockers, those guys, they are really good and really fast, and they've been able to get after the quarterback. Though, it's interesting, there's a perception Alabama doesn't pressure the quarterback as well as LSU. Sacks on the season, LSU's got 19, Alabama's got 17. So, I would dare say that the pass rush is very similar between these two teams, but there's a perception LSU's is better, but it is something Alabama's got to try to limit.
Right, and if you've looked at just sacks in the last couple of years, then maybe Alabama's numbers are not that great, but as Nick Saban says, he didn't get caught up in that. It's about how you affect the quarterback, which means pressuring him, forcing him into some bad decisions, whether you get credit for a sack or not. Trent Richardson, obviously the guy that everybody looks at. He's one of the top 2 candidates for the Heisman Trophy. How big of a game does he have to have in this matchup? First of all, for Alabama to win, but secondly, to make sure he is still in that discussion as we go into the last month of the regular season.
Well, I think the world's going to be watching this game. So there are a lot of Heisman voters that will be watching this game, and I think even if he struggles a little bit, yardage-wise, they understand what type of game this is. So I think if he's over 80, people will look at that and say that's a really good day. If he hits his season average, which is 123, give him the Heisman, Sunday morning, because that's a heck of a game against this defense.
Ryan Brown, co-host of the JOX Roundtable on JOX 94.5, along with Jim Dunaway and Lance Taylor, and also my co-host on Inside Southeastern Football on CW21 in Birmingham, Saturday mornings at 10:30. From Tuscaloosa, the center of the college football world for at least a week, and most weekends in this state anyway, I'm Chris Stewart along with Ryan Brown.